Hi guys, it's your local Lexington Realtor, Morgan Franklin, here with David O'Neill, the Fayette County PVA. David, thank you so much for having me today.
Well, thanks for visiting.
Yeah, absolutely. So today we are here to talk about public school redistricting in Fayette County. Very, very hot topic at the moment, and I understand that you've been part of the process. So kind of tell me, what has been your role with the redistricting process?
Well, there was 23 of us on the redistricting committee, and I was privileged to be one of them. We've been meeting since April of 2014 and just finished up about 3 weeks ago, so it was a full year-long process.
Wow. You know, the first question is, why are we redistricting?
Well, primarily we've got some overcrowding issues, and we've got some new schools coming on. So we've got one new high school that's coming online next year, and we've got 2 new elementary schools that are coming online the year after that. Okay. And then we will have a couple of more schools coming online a couple of years after that. So it's something that the community has to do periodically to keep capacities right. Yeah,
because I mean, you know, from a realtor standpoint, you know, there's so much growth out Winchester Road. There's growth towards Masterson Station out in Georgetown. You know, that's where all the new construction's mostly happening. So it makes sense that, you know, that's where the new schools are going to be.
That's where the most immediate new schools are going to be, out the Georgetown Road corridor and off Polo Club. But then the next elementary school after that will be in the Richmond Road corridor. We'll have a new middle school coming online a couple years down the road, and it'll also be somewhere in the Richmond Road corridor.
Okay. So, you know, we have, you know, some schools that are more populated than others right now, and that's what drove this, correct?
Yes, yes. We have a capacity issue. At some schools are overcrowded. We need a new high school right away, need a couple new elementary schools, and we also need a new middle school pretty quick. If you were to average it, all of our middle schools are at about 108% capacity.
Okay, so that kind of leads into the next question. What are the goals of redistricting? So obviously we want to not have overcrowded schools, but what other factors were considered when you were looking at, you know, how do we redraw these lines?
Well, the board gave the committee some what were referred to as guiding principles, and among those guiding principles were transportation. We wanted kids to be able to go to school as close to home as possible, within a mile of their school, walkable if possible. We wanted to not adversely affect socioeconomic conditions. So we didn't want, the primary consideration for socioeconomics is free and reduced lunch. So those were the numbers that we looked at. So we didn't want one school to be all free and reduced lunch and another school to be all paid lunch. So there was an attempt to somewhat balance those numbers, but it wasn't the primary consideration.
And, you know, as we've seen in Jefferson County, when you start busing people, there's usually a mass exodus out of the county. You know, because Jefferson County, a lot of people have moved to Oldham County because of the schools, because they don't want their children bused across town. So I think you guys have done a great job there, you know, being very considerate of that.
There was no appetite to do much in the way of busing, and there was really no push from any segment of the community to do that.
So you've already touched on the new schools, so let's talk about, so there's going to be 2 new elementary schools and 1 new high school. Where are they going to be located?
The new high school is on Winchester Road, just west of the expressway, in between New Circle Road and
Winchester, or New Circle, sorry.
Yep. And the 2 elementary schools, one of them is on Polo Club Drive, and the other one is out the Georgetown Road corridor.
Okay. So, you know, that's where the new construction is. Makes sense. That's where all the new people are going to be moving. So,
urban county government, Lexington, we do a really good job of managing development and where it's going. We have an urban service boundary, and so we know long-term where development is going to happen. And so I think the schools have done a pretty good job of picking locations to put the new schools to match where the development will occur.
Okay. So now the million-dollar question. You know, being the property value administrator, you know, you have a very firm grasp on property values in Fayette County. You know, how is the redistricting going to impact home values in Fayette County?
On a whole, it won't have an impact countywide. Now, we do know that one of the primary considerations for people when they're purchasing a new home is where will their kids go to school. So what school district a particular home is districted to will affect the desirability of that home and could, over time, affect the value of that home. But property values were not in any way a consideration for the committee.
Okay. So we have the maps behind me, and we'll pull those up and show them in full screen. It looks like these are going to be the final maps. There may be a small change or two, but there's going to be a final vote next week. Is the expectation that these maps are pretty close to the final?
That would be my expectation from everything that I've seen and heard. It looks like that there might be a tweak or two coming from the full board, but that they have indicated that there's only a couple of considerations that they're looking at right now.
Okay, great. All right, David, thank you so much for being here today. I can't tell you how much I appreciate all the wonderful information. If somebody wants to learn more about the PVA or their home values, we can go to the website and also your Facebook page. What are those addresses?
Facebook is facebook.com/Fayette PVA,
okay.
And the website is FayettePVA.com. Valuable resource. Look up every piece of property in Fayette County, see pictures, sales history, etc. And then we also do a lot of, here's the type of development that's going on right now, and you can follow that on Facebook.
And guys, we're going to have a link to all that in the description below. I personally follow the Fayette PVA webpage just because I like the historical photos. I think they're awesome. There's all kinds of great information there, especially with the bank building on Broadway, that the tear down that was stopped. So great resource. You guys should definitely follow them. Also, please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel below. Also, all of the current maps are going to be published at a link in the description below, as well as you'll have the opportunity to sign up for our email list and get all of the final maps once everything is finalized next week. If you have any questions, my contact is below. And David, again, thank you so much for being here today. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Thanks, Morgan.